If you grew up in the 90s playing games on the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, you probably have some nostalgic feelings for the 3D platformer genre. The popularity of the classic 3D platformer faded over the years, and recently it feels like there's been a resurgence in the genre from indie developers looking to capitalise on this nostalgia. One of the better indie 3D platformers in this space is the recently released Ginger: Beyond the Crystal from Drakhar Studios. It's a game that proudly wears its influences on its sleeve and seems to understand what makes people like me so nostalgic for the classic 3D platformer games of the late 90s. The first thing that drew me into Ginger and tugged at my nostalgic heartstrings is the game's aesthetic design. Everything from the characters, levels, enemies, and music is cheerfully designed to invoke a strong sense of nostalgia for the 3D platformers of the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 era. Bright pastel colours fill the screen at all times as you jump across huge mushrooms and explore caves to the sound of Kirkhope-esque background music. Weird enemies such as bipedal farting pigs or lanky strutting robots patrol the many levels, and charming, oddly shaped characters populate the hub world. The aesthetic design is very eccentric, which occasionally results in a lack of environmental cohesion, yet it also ensures that you never know what you're going to see next, but there's a good chance it'll be weird and endearing. Gameplay is typical to the 3D platforming genre and fairly well executed. There's a strong emphasis on platform-based exploration with some very light puzzle solving and combat mechanics in for good measure. Most importantly, the movement feels good with tight, responsive controls and a good sense of speed. However, the combat leaves a lot to be desired, with very little oomph behind the attacks and many maneuvers requiring a lot of frame commitment. Throughout the adventure, Ginger will acquire different costumes that grant unique abilities that are used to solve simple puzzles. Need to fit through a small hole? Put on your adorable little mouse costume and shrink down at the tap of a button. There's a nice pace to the game that ensures new abilities are frequently coming in. There's also a neat collectible system with some crafting elements that task you with rebuilding the hub world town from collectible materials hidden throughout the levels. It's a clever spin on the classic collectible system that motivates you to search for secrets throughout the levels. The story is also rather charming and fantastical and offers quite a bit of backstory for its typical chosen hero has to save the world throughline. There are plenty of kooky characters to meet along the way, which does provide a certain level of motivation to rebuild the town and save the world. The only major issue that I have with Ginger is the general lack of polish that presents itself frequently throughout the game. I haven't experienced anything game-breaking, but little quality of life features such as not being able to move to the next page of text without ending the conversation causes some frustrations. However, I can overlook the lack of polish in a game produced by a small indie studio. There's an underlying sense of cartoonish, joyful whimsy in every aspect of Ginger: Beyond the Crystal that makes the simple platforming and exploration far more than a cheap nostalgia trip. It's a genuinely fun, ambitious game that pays homage to its influences, yet also provides a satisfying gameplay experience in its own right.